This is ION Hong Kong with Key.
And this is Harminder, and we'll be discussing the top news for the week involving Hong Kong and China.
Mr. President, can we ask for a suspension of 15 minutes so that we can have a further discussion? Mr. Lam, if you said this before I announce that the question is put to the vote, then it may be different. But the division bell is already ringing. Therefore, I cannot suspend the meeting at this juncture. Voting begins. Mr. President, a point of order. I ask for a quorum count. We're already in the voting process, and now we cannot cast our vote. Time's up, Mr. President. We should be casting our vote. Voting begins. Mr. President, we should now cast our votes. Members, silence please. The clerk in this chamber, do we have a quorum? Voting begins. Voting ends. Display voting results. Voting results: 37 present, 8 for, 28 against, no abstention. The question is not agreed by.
And that was a history-making moment that we just witnessed right there.
Yes.
And welcome to the 52nd episode of Eye on Hong Kong. So that was one of the most significant moments in Hong Kong history, tied in with the umbrella movement, as well as the Article 23 protests and the handover itself in July 1st, 97. What the hell happened? You know?
I think nobody expected that.
No, I was actually watching this live, and I was as confused as Carrie Lam was in that clip.
Yeah.
And the LegCo president, Zhang Yao-sing, also, like, he's like, what's going on? He's looking around, like, somebody give me an answer here. Now, the story is that Jeffrey Lam, the one who called for the 15-minute recess,
right?
He belongs to the he's a functional constituency lawmaker. I forgot which sector, but he's part of the Professional Business Alliance, whatever that thing's called. And he called for it, and the LegCo president says, no, you should have told me before. Now, the reason he called for it was that he wanted to delay voting so that one member could arrive and cast his vote, and that was Lau Wang Fat, of the rural, gangsters committees. Okay, and so the Godfather. Sorry, so Lau Wang Fat.
He's an indigenous villager.
And he wanted to stumble in and give his vote. Now, here's my question. Why was his vote so important to be recorded in history? Because, first of all, the way that, because this vote was supposed to take place somewhere on Friday, if every member took 15 minutes to speak on the issue. Most didn't because they wanted the vote to be over before 5 so that the protest could stay small outside LegCo. Remember, there are 200 police officers in LegCo.
But actually, it doesn't matter because they can also start voting during the lunchtime or before 5
It was done before lunch.
Yeah,
this whole thing was done before lunch.
They could do it, and most of the Hong Kong people there are still at work, and then people wouldn't protest outside. So I don't see why they.
But they really wanted it to be done
5.
Because that's when people get off work. And then they'll come join the protest, and then it swells, right? During the day, it's hot. People don't really want to stand outside.
Then they should pass it at that time.
And that's what they just did.
Yeah.
It was before lunch. And that's why most didn't speak. So, but they didn't calculate, Lau Wang Fat not being there and so on and so on. And what?
But didn't you remember the day before? And one of the newspaper, they have this really powerful camera, and then they took a picture of the WhatsApp messages between the Legislative Council members, and then they were talking about having the voting at 5 p.m. so that the people couldn't come on, before they
so
finish
it happened
work.
beforehand. No matter what, it happened before 5, and it actually happened before lunch even, right? Now, of course, Lau Wang Fat was stuck in traffic, apparently. He couldn't be there. They walked out like good sheep. They walked all outside. And, but quorum was still met. Because what they tried to do was force a lack of quorum to delay the vote. But the Liberal Party, as well as Lam Tam Phai of the industrial sector, and Chan Yun Han of the FTU, and another member, name eludes me at the moment, who didn't cast a vote, actually. It was more like abstention.
Pun Siu Ping.
Okay, Pun Siu Ping, right? They stayed, and that caused quorum, right? And the vote was cast, and for the record, forever, it will be 28-8. Against.
The funny part is that Pun Siu Ping doesn't count because he didn't even press the button of present.
Yeah. He was still probably like, what in the world is going on? Do I vote? Do I not vote? What's going on? Right? And so the record for the rest of eternity is going to be 28-8 against.
Right.
It looks like a landslide defeat for the government. Now, post all this, we had the Liberal Party not joining ranks. Now, a lot of people are saying they weren't in on it. They didn't receive this WhatsApp group message. Or they had no idea what's going on. I don't buy it.
Why?
I'm looking at the video right there, and I see Paul Che, okay, the basic law Superman, get up and say something to them. There is no chance that they didn't say he didn't let them know what was going on. Somebody needs to ask Paul Che, what did he say there? Okay? And I don't know why they didn't tell Chan Yun Han, but with the whole CY, 12-year-old illegal immigrant thing, maybe she's in the doghouse right now with the rest of the pro-establishment. But the thing is, the Wang Guangya, the state official that handles Hong Kong and Macau affairs, okay, he blamed the Democrats for voting as a bloc.
But they're
what was that?
Yeah.
Okay. They walked out as a bloc, pretty much, except the Liberal Party, who I may not agree with all their politics, but at least they showed some independent thinking. Okay?
Or they, I still think that probably James Tan, he was actually forced to resign from the NPC.
CPPCC.
And then now it seems
not forced to resign. They kicked him out.
So basically, is it a revenge or something?
See, a lot of people are also saying this was a revenge tactic because Jeffrey Lam used to be part of the Liberal Party. And the pro-establishment blamed the Liberal Party for not voting for the Article 23 legislation at the last minute. They pulled their support because society showed that there was no support for Article 23. So they said we can't vote because we don't just vote for the sake of voting. Nobody wants us to vote. So we listen to a constituency. See, I may not agree with all their politics, and I don't like Dominic Lee, obviously, who's part of their party, but they at least showed some independent thought.
Right.
And I think that James Tien got the last laugh and gave them a giant middle finger.
Right. It seems so because he the same night he uploaded a very funny picture with a pig.
It's a very cute little
wearing
piglet,
the glasses, and then saying that there's not so many conspiracy inside, just some stupid people.
Yeah, there's no conspiracy. It's all just stupid people.
Yeah,
because people are thinking, "What was the walkout about? Was it really a rejection of the Beijing package?" La, 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 la. He's like, "No, these are just stupid people."
And then of course some of these pro-government newspaper trying to make the situation not so ugly, and then by saying that they try to count the number of supporting the government proposal outside the legislative council, that it will be like more than 40 something, and they actually say that actually is only because of the pandemic they refused.
Yeah, so at the end of the day they still blame the Pandemocrats for their mistake.
Yes,
that's what I don't understand. And then after this vote, we had first of all, after the vote, some of them ran to the liaison office in Saiwan and to the officials in there to explain what happened. Talk about showing who's boss.
I don't understand why they have to go to the liaison office to explain, because I thought that is one country, two system.
Oh, yeah.
And then they shouldn't...
Article 22 is not being breached.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's about Article 22, that all the departments of PRC, they shouldn't interfere with Hong Kong matters. And now they actually surrender themselves to the...
That's what it was, a surrendering.
Yeah, and then they walk in and then they have to go in to explain to them why. I don't understand. Are they actually behind all these... Are they saying that? Are they saying it by action that they're controlled by
them? That's the perception.
It's not a perception because it's a evidence proof by their conduct.
Yeah, but exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. Right. You can only go by what they're doing, but that's what some of them did, is just run to the liaison office.
Yeah.
And pull down their pants and bend over. Right. And that's exactly what happened, pretty much.
That's true.
Right. And then the next day they made the media rounds.
Right.
And we have clip 2 that we're going to run. Let's play that.
越諗越遺憾，我諗中央政府一定係好失望啦，我自己都好難過，所以琴晚都瞓唔着，係嘛？辛苦咗20個月，我真係好想投呢票。
That's Regina Ip having the interview with CL Radio 2 and then commercial radio 2, and then she said she really wanted to vote, and she cried and she...
And I don't know, some people said that was just crocodile tears. Some of them said...
I think it's real tears. Actually,
she said she couldn't sleep well. She just wanted to vote.
She's so scared that she cried and shit in her pants. Right? She's so scared.
Well, either that or she just saw her hopes of becoming the next chief executive dashed with what she did.
But why? I mean, just one mistake.
It's a big mistake.
I mean, she just followed others.
Exactly.
Because what she said is that actually one of the very good questions asked by the host of CL2 is that she said, I just follow them, and then I walk out, and then she said because the DAB
is the whip.
The whip. Yeah, so she followed, and then the host said, so you basically just follow the DAB.
Yeah.
And then she said, yes, I just followed them, and then so
you have no independent thought.
And then the host said, so actually if people are going to vote, then they should vote DAB, not you.
Yeah.
Right? Because
first of all, they're considered
anyway.
the moderates, right? Apparently.
Right.
Apparently. That they court the middle class and the professionals. But who's going to take their votes most likely now?
Well,
Liberal Party.
Of course, then you will always see that Liberal Party try to make fun of her.
They only have 2 people in the New People's Party And if they lose both seats, there goes that party.
I thought
Right.
that most of the is either Civic Party or the New People Party.
Well, no, or the Liberal Party is also considered, more moderate and
professional,
middle class. That's who they, tend to. But it's just incredible. But the tears didn't stop there.
Yeah.
We got another clip for that, and let's see what happened here.
我亦都希望
Jeffrey
大家
Lam
唔好
just
Her lips
quivering
trembling,
lips, tears.
我再一次向大家道歉，亦都希望大家可以再一次
I love how he pauses
重拾
to
我
add
哋
emphasis to the
Yeah.
獅子山下嘅
And
精神。
very dramatic.
and
Why you
sorry.
laugh?
I don't know. It's just so ironic that after the vote, the whole strategy of the pro-establishment was going to be blaming the pan-Democrats for not having universal suffrage. But the voting results show 28-8, which means
They're the majority now.
Exactly.
But the thing is that he actually called for the unity of the pro-establishment. Do you think that actually probably they will come, later come stronger in the election because they now know that they have to be, in
first of
unity?
all, if they really want to show unity and responsibility, he needs to fall on his sword. He needs to resign.
right.
For such an absolutely crucial mistake.
But-
heads after roll.
Okay, then we also have a Chen Yunhan.
Yeah.
Today she cried too.
Oh,
and then she said that
Well, we
she
don't have that
shouldn't-
clip.
She shouldn't be the one who's crying, but
Why is she crying?
Then
She
I have
voted.
no idea
She
that-
did her job.
Yeah, but
It's we may not agree with her choice, but she did her job.
that's one of the funny part is that the pro-establishment people also blaming those who stay in the legislative council as
that
well.
is true. Even Felix Chung, the chairman of the Liberal Party, was like they're trying to confuse black and white by blaming us for staying. Because they're saying, well, you stayed and that caused our quorum not to be lacking and didn't allow the rural godfather to come in
Right.
and cast his vote. And how can you blame them? They did their job. You didn't.
And,
You tried to play some political games in the chamber, and it totally backfired.
That's so true. But at that time, if the pandemic they have the guts to vote for the bill, that would be even more dramatic, I think. If they vote for okay, we support that, but they will not pass anyway because they don't have enough votes. But at the same time, then they can blame it on those who walk out of the chambers. But of course, it's hypothetical.
Politically, I mean, they got a lot of heat for this because the FTU said we've been getting calls. Regina Ip there was saying on the internet she was getting a lot of bad comments. And
Right.
they're getting a lot of heat for this. So they have a lot of making up to do. That's what the FTU said. We have a lot of work to do to mend fences, which means they got to order double the oyster sauce and triple the cooking oil and bags of rice.
I just don't think that has such a big impact on them because those who voted for them in the past elections, they will anyway vote for them because they're loyalists or they're those old people that have come by the bus. So I don't really see why do they need to do anything. Even Regina Ip saying that she's not happy because a lot of people waiting them outside the legislative council to cast a vote. But then those people, we know that those people outside the legislative council actually hired by them. They
Chow
got
Yun?
paid. I don't know whether it's Robert Chow or not, but they got paid. So, and those people are not real people that you can talk to, right? They're just some of them actually from mainland China with their passport.
You mean most? The thing is that I don't know what their supporters do. I mean, I think they literally vote just to get more goodies. That's it. Because when you confront the Beijing pro-Beijing legislators, about gifts and free. Okay, I was actually on last Sunday, going to Temple out there in Happy Valley, and I saw buses and buses and buses of DAB, and all old people were getting on. Where, for what, I don't know, but we know that they do arrange a lot of trips,
right?
To certain places with a free luncheon there.
It's also quite funny that to see that when you interview these people outside the Legislative Council, when you ask about why are you here, they could actually say that we come here to support the bill to be passed. But then when you ask them what
bill,
what about it, and then they don't know, and then they actually said, "Don't ask me, ask my boss,
my supervisor."
Yeah, it's quite funny though.
Yeah, no, they had their usual thugs and some people there to cause trouble. And all that, but this whole thing was about to be, first I don't know if this bomb plot that was uncovered earlier in the week is real or not still, because looking at history, I would not be surprised if this was a setup by somebody to make it the Pandems, let's say that's the most moderate, all the way down to the localists and nativists look bad, okay? Because that's going to be the new talking point is they're violent, right? And right now everybody's forgot about it because
exactly.
Of this. Good job handing this on a silver platter, because the bomb plot is serious if it's real. But looking at the FBI's track record in the States, they over 95% of their plots that they've stopped have been of their own making,
right? Where
they gave them the materials, they gave them the chance to make. Well, they usually don't have the bomb ready, right? It's just not complete, but they'll catch them just before then and say, "Look, we caught terrorists."
It really reminds me of the incident in the Nazi time that the Reichstag burned.
Oh, yeah, the Reichstag, and it was blamed on the communists, but it was really Hitler that did it, right?
And it's really similar to that.
Don't forget the Operation Himmler and what happened at Gleiwitz, where they attacked a German radio station, killed some Polish prisoners, put uniforms on them, and said, "Look, the Poles attacked Germany. We got to attack Poland."
Yeah, I think we still.
So it's happened in history.
It does. Then this
is called a false flag operation. By the way,
also quite funny is that these guys already taken to the court, and then it
should come out all there, right?
And so the Defense Council actually attacking, saying that those materials are not so serious, and then they're only gathering some materials and they didn't really see that they were making it. So
and they also said
before that.
And they also said that the police were being coercive when they were arrested, like
touching their penis too.
Private parts and stuff like that, hitting them and all that. I mean, this is not the police I thought I knew just 10 years ago. Stuff like, this could look bad for your husband's career because one of the husbands was a doctor. You might want to fess up and all this stuff. And I don't know what's really going on with this, but it just didn't smell right. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't smell right. Finding them making explosives and Saikong in some abandoned studio by ATV. I thought it was a real ATV, abandoned, same thing. No, I'm joking. Then they found all this material in there that incriminates them. Yeah. And then they're shouting slogans while they're being arrested. Like, could you give the police more stuff to convict you? Like an orgy of evidence. You know what I mean? That's it. Just didn't look right to me. Real terrorists don't do this.
It's just too many things happened right before the voting. Like Leung Kwok-hong also make this.
Oh yeah, the $100 million.
Saying that he got offered $100 million.
And the South China Morning Post confronted him. He said, "No, that's BS."
And then he said,
just to get in the press.
Actually, that he only got the offer of they will ensure that he will have a good life of 2 generations.
In February, well, 2 generations. Leung Kwok-hong lives in public housing. That could just mean 200,000. Anyways, we'll be back in the second half with our guest Charles Mok, legislator for the functional constituency of the IT sector. And he was there during that whole thing, so it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say. So stick around.